What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So there's been a major development in this Epstein fiasco, Epstein Gate, which honestly has threatened the presidency of Donald Trump. All right. And according to various articles, notorious sex criminal Ghislaine Maxwell answered questions from Justice Department officials and gave the names of about reportedly 100 different people linked to late PED Jeffrey Epstein, an attorney for the disgraced socialite, claimed Friday following 2 days of interrogation led by Todd Blanche. David Oscar Marcus told reporters that his client, currently serving a 20-year sentence after being convicted in Manhattan on federal trafficking and conspiracy charges back in December of 2021, was asked about every possible thing you could imagine. Everything. This is the first opportunity she's ever had been given to answer questions about what happened. The truth will come out about what happened with Mr. Epstein, and Blanche had, quote, every single question answered during the sit-down. Maxwell's attorney also said with the British-born convict declining to plead the Fifth Amendment. If she lies, they could charge her with lying. They did charge her with lying. Reporter challenged him, referring to 2 perjury counts that Marcus noted were dropped by the feds after her conviction. No one is above the law, and no lead is off limits. Blanche posted on X Tuesday in announcing he would speak with Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell, who is 63, is appealing her conviction and sentencing, and legal observers have speculated her willingness to answer questions is tied to a potential clemency granted by President Trump. Her attorney described the commander-in-chief Friday as the ultimate deal maker and claimed his client has been treated unfairly for the past 4 or 5 years and didn't get a fair trial. Marcus added, we hope he exercises that power in a right and just way. Trump 79 told reporters after landing in Glasgow, Scotland, that, quote, I don't know anything about the conversation between Blanche and Maxwell because I haven't really been following it. Yeah, sure. This is no time to be talking about pardons, the president added about after saying hours earlier while leaving the White House that I haven't thought about the idea. Look, man, this is just my opinion, okay? I think it's been like 2 or 3 days now that Ghislaine Maxwell has been communicating with the Department of Justice, generally paying bond. I think what's going to happen, and this is just my guess, I think that she's going to name 100 people, right, who are probably, I guess, what we would call relative low-hanging fruit of that group. Of the elites, they're the more expendable, okay? Like, I'm going to say entertainers, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised first of all, that's if this list ever comes out. narrative, most of them are going to be perceived as left of center, which would feed into the narrative from Trump supporters that the Epstein list is full of Democrats, which is bullshit. It's full of Democrats and Republicans. That's why Biden didn't release the list, because he wanted to protect the likes of Bill Clinton and others on that side of the aisle. I told you this is a bipartisan criminal this is a bipartisan criminal network. I guess that's where putting it. This takes on both sides. But I think that Trump and her are going to come up to a deal, a decision where he's not going to be named. Okay, at least not publicly. I think there's an understanding of that, and when I say understanding, I mean, if somehow she was to name Trump, see DC Madam, see various other peoples who end up, unalived. You get where I'm going with that, and I think she's possibly even going to say some things that are relatively flattering of Trump, if anything, and then and only then she may, in the long term, get a pardon, or at the very least, she's going to get a much reduced sentence. Okay, and it could be some other things. Saw something where there's some photographs of her carrying a white box back to her cell. Um, you know, that's interesting. A lot of speculation about what that could be. I have no idea, but I do think that right now the fix is in, so that if there are names that are going to be named, it's going to be people who are on the left, and I don't think it's going to be. This country is not about prosecuting the upper elite. Like it almost never happens. Look, the highest ranking government official ever to serve real serious jail time was the former Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert. And it was proven that he was part of a network of, matter of fact, into these same type of activities. It was. Yes, she's a woman, and this society has a tendency to give women slaps on the wrist. But this is a woman who preyed on underage individuals. This is a woman that was stalking malls. You know how in this country we have a long history, especially in recent decades, of children disappearing from malls, disappearing from playgrounds, and disappearing from, in general, those who are definitely are part of that network. And she's no innocent person. She's a monster, and you better believe she engaged in a lot of this disgusting behavior with her former boyfriend Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, and oftentimes in these photos with Epstein and Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is right there with him. So Trump is the king of self-preservation, and it's the But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.